Yeah, so again, good day, class. This is the fifth week and our first class, of course. So let's get down to business. So this will be our agenda today. We'll be talking about doing some recap from our last class, and then we do some introduction to infrastructure as code. Then we talk about some of the popular tools in infrastructure as a code. Word, then we do introduction to Terraform. Then we talk, just because we're going to need this Terraform, the IMA role, and I know some of us have not really have not done some AWS much like that. So, we're just going to talk about that a little bit, especially from the lab part. And we're going to do some lab with Terraform and see how it works. So this was from last class. Let me go to slideshow. Just slide it. Okay, so yeah, this is what we did last class. We talked about collaboration, and I, emphasize, that DevOps practices is not just based on the technical part alone, but rather I can hear my voice. What's going on? Someone. Yeah, okay. So DevOps, it's not based on the technical part alone, the cultural aspect of it, especially collaboration is very, very important. That's when they talk about dev and ops team, working together, and so those are some of the things you should definitely just read about and just understand them, how you can, because some interviewer they will ask you question like, okay, in terms of culture, what are the good DevOps cultures to adopt? How do you practice DevOps in a place? Because what happens is that most companies are just trying to move into using DevOps. So they are, they need a lot of help in terms of many things like, okay, so they just say, okay, DevOps, they want to adopt the practice, but so they want you to have those understanding, not just the technical part alone, but also like the cultural part and the understanding what it's all about. So these are very key: the communication, collaboration, automation, monitoring and stuff like that. These are very key with DevOps, CI/CD as well, of course. So but we talked about this last week, the collaboration part. Then we did we talked about various tools they use for collaboration, like Jira, like Slack, like Microsoft Teams, and a lot of them. So and for like this collaboration kind of thing, like meeting, group chat, and stuff like that, I would say, in my opinion, Microsoft Teams and Slack, they are the leading in that field, in that area, in that spectrum. So I've always been working with Microsoft Teams on my job, like I said last week. So it's very popular and very easy to use. As you can see, last week we did some integration with it, play around with it. So today we'll be talking of infrastructure as a code. So which is IaaC. There are so many as a code you'll be hearing in DevOps world. Some of it, infrastructure as a code, is very popular. So what happened is that, again, these are servers that you are seeing in the picture on the right. These are server. The other one you say like a circle, like a cylinder. This is a database. You see all this networking. They have to talk to each other. So developing an application or a software, it takes a lot, not just the writing code alone. There are a lot involved there, like setting up the environment, the infrastructure. As you can see from last class, we just use EC2, a single EC2 to host our web application on Tomcat. So, in the real world, it could be 5 or 10 different EC2 they'll be using. Those EC2 has to talk to each other. You find a way they connect with each other. So that's when you talk about the networking part, like load balancing. Maybe you want to put them in auto scaling. You have to set up the security group. There are so many things to do, like in terms of setting up the environment. And this is what they call environment, resources, infrastructure. You can say a job, they will say infrastructure engineer. I've interviewed a job like that with a position like that before. Infrastructure engineer. These are what they call infrastructure in the tech field. So these are servers, database, a lot of things. It could be storage like S3 buckets, it could be Lambda, a lot of things. They are working together, connected with each other. So setting up this environment, it takes time. It's not just what we are doing. We're just clicking next to spin up this thing. These people, they do a lot of configuration. They do IAM roles and policy. They set up the security group. They will do the VPC, subnet. It's a lot of setup they have to do, to make everything like work together in a secure way, at a large scale. So infrastructure as a code is a process of managing and provisioning computer data centers through machine-readable definition file rather than physical hardware configuration or interactive tools. Infrastructure as a code is the managing and provisioning of infrastructure through code instead of through manual process. Just like I said, infrastructure as a code means you are provisioning this infrastructure as a code instead of going to AWS and dashboard, clicking this, setting this up, setting that up. With infrastructure as a code, you can just write some scripts and everything will be up and running. And one of the big things is reusability. For example, now, like I said, this thing, in the real world, they used to have different environments. They have what which they call environment. One can be development environment. That's where you play around with things. It's not a serious environment. Then you have staging environment. Then you can have pre-prod. Then you can have production itself. So this environment, or again, this could be different AWS accounts. Just assume it's different AWS account. You have this account, you call it development. You have another AWS account, you call it staging. But you don't want to, again, you want to try things out, you want to test things out before you move it to another environment or to the final stage. So in your development environment, if you have stuff like maybe you are doing it manually, you spin up your EC2, you attach load balancing with it, you attach security group, you connect it with the database, everything. First of all, it takes time to do that manually, especially when you are doing a lot of stuff. It will take time. You are prone to error doing it manually. Again, it's difficult to replicate the same thing. For example, you test it out in a development environment. You now want to replicate it. You want to do the same thing, the same setup you do on the same AWS. You want to set it up again in another environment. Now it will be difficult because there are things you may not really remember how you did it the first time, because you are doing it manually. Then once you have tools like infrastructure as a code, you have it as a script. You can run it in 10 places. It will be the same thing, 100% identical, no difference, no nothing. So, it allowed that consistency in managing infrastructure, and it's very, very huge in the industry of DevOps. Again, we're talking of environment where they have maybe 20 different servers running. They have accounts like 10 or 15 accounts or more than that. A lot of, complication. They are networking, talking to each other through the VPC endpoint or whatever. So it's the subnetting are there. You're setting up database at the back end, everything. So it takes a lot to do those manually. And again, it's prone to error when you're doing it manually with infrastructure as a code. You just have to be worried about writing the script. And once you can write it once, then you are good to just launch it, then everything will work. So what are the importance? Like I said, it's faster speed, faster speed and consistency. It may take time to write the first script, of course, it may not take that long, but it's faster in terms of speed. You don't have to click, do this, do that. It's consistency. Like I said, you can replicate the same thing in different environments without any difference. So everything will be completely, identical because you are using a script. It's not like you are doing it manually. So efficient software development lifecycle, you can put it in a version control, like a GitHub. Then you manage, anybody that make changes. Unlike if we are working together in the same AWS accounts now, I launch an EC2 instance, and Yomi, maybe I launch like a T2 micro instance. Yomi came there and launched like M4 and change it to something else, or maybe attach this thing. So you won't really know what is going on there. It will be a lot of confusion. You won't know who does what on the infrastructure side. It will be, but with the code, you just have everything in as a code. So, maybe, and you put them in like GitHub, someone now came, making changes there, someone updated this code, and you see what they changed there. So it's easier to manage that way. And, it's cost saving as well. Cost saving, let me give you an example again. Like I said, these companies, they work in different, what they call environment, like auto staging, production and stuff like that, development environment, testing environment. Some environment, you just want to play around with things. You just want to test how Jenkins will work on the EC2. Once you are done with that, you want to destroy it. So, you want to destroy it, and you want to, like, maybe in the future, you want to bring that exact setup up again. So it's easier to do with, all those infrastructure as a code compared to when you have to be doing it manually, and you can't remember how you make the setup again. Because if you destroy it, you destroy what you do manually, coming to do that again, exact the same thing again, it's going to be a little bit difficult, especially if it's something that involves long process to do. So, cost saving, reduce management, and, these are very, very important in the DevOps world. So, and even cloud world generally. So some common resources needed to, like I said, when a company is launching hosting an application or stuff like that, there are so many. These are what we call infrastructure or resources. On AWS, you call it resources. Server, these are like EC2 that we use. Those are server. They are databases. We've not really been working with databases, but they used to be there. A lot of them could be RDS database, could be DynamoDB, it could be MySQL, SQL, or MongoDB, or anything. So these are databases. They have to be there. Load balancing have to be there too. They have to have a load balancer, because again, they are working in like 7, 10 different servers. So they have to like balance, have a way, something they call load balancing, to like balance them and, distribute the load. That, okay, if this person is visiting our website, go to this server. If the next person is coming, go to this server. That's what the load balancer does. So it's very, very like, almost all companies use that, for this thing. So these are not all, of course, there are many more. But again, just to give you perspective that, there are so many things you consider that you use on the cloud when you are hosting your application. It's not just the server alone we've been doing. Of course, we use security group, S3 bucket. They may have something in S3 bucket, maybe image or some code. There are a lot of things they have to do. So these things are difficult to manage. If you are doing it manually, they are difficult to spin up. And again, it takes time to do them. So again, to spin up a load balancer, a load auto scaling group, you have to know stuff very well, and be very, or VPC. So, those could be complicated to some extent. So some common tools they use for infrastructure as a code, of course, Terraform comes first, then CloudFormation, that's very popular too. The CloudFormation is AWS specific. You can't use it anywhere else. Then Ansible, Ansible is mostly for configuration management, but they can also use it for this. But again, I will be very straight with you. Most this thing is Terraform. So for Terraform or CloudFormation, that's what you see most time. People use Ansible, but they don't use it to launch resources in most cases. It's better for configuration management. We're still going to do some Ansible, and you say how Ansible work, but it's kind of different from Terraform. So but you can also use it for to spin up services like infrastructure as a code. Then Azure too, resource manager, Google Cloud have a deployment manager too. Again, all this one are specific to cloud. But Terraform, you can use it anywhere you can use it, even on premises. Terraform is very powerful, and so again, you don't really need to bother much. Again, I know I have some AWS application now. I don't really know much about CloudFormation. I'll be very straightforward with you, because again, it's not like it's not that popular. But even people that use AWS, most of them still prefer Terraform, because it's very powerful, has so much flexibility, and kind of easier to read. So again, if you know Terraform, you are good. You don't need to bother about trying to know all this, except you have excess time on your side. So of course, in the class, we'll be going with Terraform, which is the most popular among them. So then introduction to Terraform. This is the logo. Terraform is an open source infrastructure as a code software tool created by HashiCorp. HashiCorp, they are very popular organization. So they have they are the one that created Terraform, owns Terraform, and also some tools like Vault, and they have a lot of very cool tools in the field, HashiCorp. So it's open source. Again, open source is like it's free for everyone to use. You don't have to pay for it, and unless you want to use some advanced features. So Terraform is a tool for building, changing, and versioning infrastructure safely and efficiently. It can manage existing and popular service provider, like AWS, Google Cloud, and everything. Then this last one is important. The centers of Terraform configuration is called HashiCorp Configuration Language, HCL. Kind of similar to like JSON, but a little bit different. So you see it when we get to, I think, next slide, how it looks like. But this is the language that Terraform use. Just like when we are doing the Jenkins file pipeline script, we said they use like a groovy kind of syntax. So, they used to, some could be, I think CloudFormation use JSON and YAML. So, which is, I don't really like JSON like that. So, but, different tool with different language they use. But this is the syntax that Terraform use, HCL, HashiCorp Configuration Language. I think Packer too use similar this thing. And it looks like something like this. You write something, give this the name, these are the, you see the curly braces. So it follows, this is the resources and stuff like that. So we follow a syntax like this. And again, these are very, very important. You don't really need to cram stuff, to some extent. Just understand the syntax. If you are required to work with it, the documentations are there to just know what you are doing, what you can change, what you can modify, what you can add. You just have to be creative with all these things. The main syntax, you don't need to cram it and try to know that, okay, access key, this, you can just look it up and know that, okay, you need this side, you need to change this says example, you need to give it a name that you want. So, again, those are how this thing works in the real life, and just have to like understand it that, okay, this is how it works and what you have to do. So yeah, nobody on the job will ask you to write Terraform script off your head, or they just give you the project. You find a way to write it on your own. Go on Google, find the syntax, know what to, but you have to understand it very well. understand a lot of things there. So going to our lab, these are what we're going to be doing in the lab today. We're going to install Terraform, IAM Roles and Policy. Then we're going to touch it briefly in the lab. Then we're going to install AWS CLI. I think most of you say you install it already. Then we're going to just create a simple Terraform script. You say it looks like, then we're going to deploy it on AWS. So that'll be our agenda for tonight. Any question, guys? Any question? Any question?
We are going to need to spin up what EC2 server.
Yeah. Well, you said we're going to need one?
Do we need to spin up EC2 server like on AWS?
No, not really. No, we're going to do that through Terraform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to do that through Terraform. We don't need to. And I think I forgot again. I should have sent you instruction on installing Terraform on your distance. I mean, you can do it because what happens is that I'm using Mac now and I already have it installed on my bed. I will show you. Can you see the team? Can you see my screen? Microsoft Team? I don't think I'm showing.
No.
Okay. Hold on, let me. Yeah, so I will show you because I added it to the team. I added the instruction on installing Terraform. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can see the team now.
Yeah.
Okay, you see the Microsoft team. Yeah, this is team. This is what we did last week. So if you go to team, you go to file, you see,
okay.
Again, this is how we do all those things. And this book is it's a big book, but it's very popular in the site reliability by Google. You see how Google works, extremely high scale. If you have time, you can take a look. It's a very big book and very popular.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can learn a few things there. So I just added there. So if you go under file, this is post, on the top like this, you see files. So here I have the labs in this, which I put right here. So if you go there, you see some of the. So
okay, so you put all the
yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah, so I put it there. So you may want to look into this. It's easier. I use different. There are two options you can use to do the installation on Windows. So on Mac, I didn't put it there because it's kind of straightforward. You can just use Brew. If you have Brew installed on your Mac, I think only Isaac is using Mac here. So if you have Brew, which I believe it should, so you can just use Brew install Terraform. So Brew will install it. But for Windows, it's a little bit longer. So I want us to work directly on the computer now, to pull out the stuff and then so for Windows, the instruction is there. Check the chocolate option. Chocolate is like when we are doing apt get install, all those things we are doing on Ubuntu. But on Windows, they have something similar to that, which they call Choco. So Choco install, you can say Choco install Terraform. So, but you need to install the Choco on your laptop first before you can use that. But this is easier, quicker way to do that. So if you click on the file, you see it. So you just have to use your PowerShell. Just type PowerShell in the search button. So then you run it as administrator. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not some Windows computer, and my virtual box is kind of not really. I will show this there. Trust me, it's very
okay. So we can just paste all this.
Yeah. This you need to paste it in PowerShell. This number 4. So this should install the Choco for you. Then once it installed Choco for you, just come here. You just make sure Choco is installed. So Choco is installed, then you just run Choco install Terraform, just like we are doing apt install on Ubuntu. So on Mac now, we have something similar we call Brew. So I can say brew install Terraform on my Mac directly. So that we install. But if you run this directly now, it will tell you that you don't have Choco. Choco doesn't come with your this thing directly. So that's why you have to do the first process first, install Chocolate on your this thing first before you now do this process.
Say this to us.
It's on Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, this is on. You go to file. This is a post. If you go to under the general, I want you to get used to, because this is easier and more. So you go to the lab folder. This is a folder for lab. Then you search install Terraform using Choco. You can check this other option as well. It's just a little bit longer. But you can use either of both. Just try and follow with the instruction. But for me, I already have it installed, unfortunately, so I can't really show it. And even if I show it, it will just be this thing. So first thing I will do, I want to go to my AWS console. I don't really need this Jenkins, so let me just stop it or shut it down. Stop taking my money. Yeah, so now I'll go to AWS console. I want to go to IAM. IAM means identical and access management on AWS. And that's where you define like what access, permissions, and stuff like that. So it's very, very core, very, very important on AWS. I'm sure most of you guys are already familiar with IAM. And you can, if you see my account, I've been using root access, which is now like a best practice. So, but, if you want to search for any service on AWS, again, there are a lot of them, some that I don't know, you can come here, search for it. You see S3 bucket, there are a lot of service, a lot. So, but I can come to search, I type IAM. So it gave me, so you see manage AWS resources. So if I click on that now, so what I want to do is that, so you can do a lot of stuff like users. For example, you want to create, maybe I want everyone to use my AWS account. Everybody in this, I can create different users. I can create a user, give them a role or this thing. So let me delete these users. I can create a user, give them a role and policy, and so right now I just have one of these. I'm not using this actually, but you can create a lot of different users on AWS, and then so user, you give them the credential, they log in with the credential. You can give them a role and a role, and from a role you attach a policy to a role. So policy is like a subset of a role. The role is what you are assigned to the person. You can't really assign permission to the person directly. The person you have to attach a role to the person. So the person will have a role, but under the role there will be some permission that you define there, which you call a policy. That's where you do the policy. You see create policy. Then here I can create a role. If I create a role, it will ask me to attach that, okay, who want to use my role? Is it someone, is it AWS services, so you can do all those cool stuff there. And I can say that, okay, EC2, I want to, EC2 is the one that will use my role, because it's not only a human being you assign this thing to, you assign it to like AWS services too. Like for example, EC2, Lambda, or anything. So you can assign all those roles to them. Then within the role, you define the policy. That's what kind of define what they can do and what they can't do. That, okay, I want you to access, I want EC2 to have access to S3 buckets. From all the EC2 we've been using, if I go to my service now, let me just use EC2 here. Then let me just open it, another tab. I like to do this. So if I go to all the EC2 that we've been using, you notice they don't have any anything. They don't have any role, So if you go to, let me see, it should be somewhere, maybe security. Yeah, you see IAM role, it says dash, nothing's there. So, but of course, we're not calling anything with our EC2. For example, maybe you want your EC2 service to like download a file from S3 bucket. It will give you error because you don't have any role assigned to it, because we're not using that. That's why this works for us perfectly without any problem. But, in most cases, this role, you want it to like you want your EC2 to do any other thing. Like, for example, maybe connect with S3 bucket or maybe Lambda or do some things on your behalf. So you have to define the role here that, okay, this is the role I'll be giving the EC2. Again, it could be very tricky. That's why I always suggest to just watch all those cool videos on AWS. So, but what we are mainly concerned today is, we want to create a user. So we create a user, then we have to, what happens is that, okay, let's create a user now. So then we give it a name. Let me give it you can give it any name, I can give it Isaac or anything, So Terraform user. So Terraform will use the credential for this person to like access our AWS, because now what we are doing is that we want to run our Terraform. Of course, it's not running on AWS, even if it's running on AWS, but we want our Terraform to be able to do some things like maybe launch EC2, do something. So it needs permission to do that. Terraform cannot just do that on its own. So it needs permission. So I will give it a name, just a name, Terraform user, then programmatic assets. If you read it, what happened is that there are many ways to interact with our AWS. Again, all this thing we are doing, this is what they call console. We are using console now. This clicking we are doing, launch instance. This is how they do it using console. There are other ways you can do it as well, which is some of it is like API, a CLI that asks you to download. So, you will see how we can interact with our AWS with the CLI, which is command line interface. You don't need to go to the AWS console and say launch instance. You can run a command on your computer that pp AWS S3 create bucket, give it the name, enter. Then it will go to your account, create S3 bucket for you. You don't need to come here and be clicking anything. So you can do a lot of things. Again, these are like developer, this thing through API as well, like third party using some AWS services. They can make some API call to AWS. So SDK as well, these are for developers. So again, this is what we've been using through the management console, this option here. So but this user, I want to give it a programmatic access, not just this thing. I can select this too also, but trust me, this alone is okay for what we are doing, what we want to do with the AWS. Programmatic access alone is what we need, because we want to interact with, we want this user to interact with AWS through CLI or API, this thing, programmatic access. So if I do management console now to generate a password, username, password, then this user can use it to sign in on our account and do anything we permit it to do. So again, these are just this thing. So I'll just select programmatic access, and this is only what we need for this. Then I'll go to permission. So permission is like, okay, what do you want this user to do? What do you want this? Again, this is Terraform now. What do you want Terraform to do in your environment? So because it's Terraform, we don't know what we can, maybe to S3 bucket, to deploy EC2, to do this thing. So I'll give you like admin access. So if I go to attach existing policy now and just say, okay, it's even on the first one, you see administrator access. This is a full access. It's kind of dangerous in the real world because this person can do anything on your account, literally. So because this administrator access, you can, call S3 bucket, you can do so many things. So, but we are okay with that. We want Terraform to be able to do many things on our account. So we're going to give it this. So then I will go to next now. Tag, you can give it a tag if you like, but it's not that necessary. Then review. So everything looks good. Okay. So programmatic access. Then this is the policy, managed policy by AWS. Then let's just create this user and see what we got. So it will take you here. Then these are the key things you need. You need what they call access key ID, then secret access key. These two are very, very important. And, if anybody have access to your stuff like this, they can do a lot of things on your accounts. So they can make API call, they can, interact with your accounts with these thing. So it's very, very important and, very very sensitive, confidential that you don't have to share, so but we got to use that. There are other ways you can also allow Terraform to talk to your account, but we're just going to do this for now. So we're going to need these two access key ID and secret key ID. So they give us good option here to download it as a CSV file, which is like a Excel. So I will download it. I can also copy it. You can copy it and just put it in your maybe notepad or anywhere. Just you can copy it, or you can just download it. If you download it, you'll be able to access it as well. So, but what happens is that if you don't download it, you'll not be able to access this thing again. So you have to note that you'll not be able to access the secret access key again. So you see, if I show it now, this is my own. So, but if I do close now, it's gone for life. But I already downloaded it, so I can still access it. So make sure you download this, and probably copy both of them somewhere. Make sure you copy it correctly. So I'm just going to close it. Everything looks good. We created the user. So let's see what we can do with the user. So this is the user now. So everything is good. So if I click on this user now, so if I go to security credential here, then we're going to see where's the secret key? Yeah, you see the access key I was talking about. And again, you can only see the access key. The secret one is gone now. So that's why you need to copy it before you leave that part. So you only see this. If you can't get it again, it's no cause for alarm. You can just deactivate it and just create another user. There's no big deal there. But you don't just want to be doing that every time. So we are good there. This IAM, we create a user. This is the user. I have another user which I just call Kenku. This user, I think it has the other permission that maybe can log into my AWS account. But yeah, we have this now. So let's see what we can do with it. So I'm going to go to my terminal, and there's this cool feature that it's not too popular on AWS, Cloud Share. With Cloud Share you can interact with AWS directly, do a lot of cool stuff. Maybe I will just use Cloud Share to make things better. Again, you can use your let me close it. So Cloud Shell under the hood, we provision like a virtual server for you, and you can just interact with the terminal. Or, you can, okay. So let's use Cloud Shell. Let's use VS Code, because that's where we're going to write our code. Or again, you can use, as a Windows user, you can use your terminal directly, your CMD terminal directly if you have AWS CLI installed. Or you can use PowerShell, as a Windows user, you can use PowerShell directly and just do. Can you guys see my terminal now? Because I don't know if
I can.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so
no, your terminal. Why you say your terminal?
No. Command you mean on Windows? Oh, okay. You can't see
no, we can't see your terminal.
We can't see
it. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I mean by terminal. Yeah. So, but yeah, on Windows, it's let me I don't know why some of what this thing doesn't. Yeah, but on Windows, just type CMD, or just type PowerShell on Windows. Then you should be able to run the command. You should be able to run the command.
Me PowerShell.
Yeah, you can use you use PowerShell.
I don't know why my own is not. It's bringing something like terminal. Once I click it.
Once you click what?
Once I click my PowerShell, it's bringing me something like terminal.
Yeah, it should be a terminal.
Okay, so after terminal, so what's the next thing I'm going to run?
No, just just open it for now. Yeah. Can you guys see my terminal now?
Yeah.
You can see my terminal.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let me make it bold a little bit. And that you see. So yeah, this is my terminal. Yeah, just you should see something like this on your Windows too. This is the terminal. So you can, although you may not be able to do LS on Windows. Windows, I think it's dir to view directory. But if you use PowerShell, you can run LS on PowerShell. You can run some basic distance, but we're not really dealing with Linux command like that. We are dealing with AWS command line. If I do AWS -, version right here on your terminal, you should be able to see AWS CLI that is installed on your computer. If you don't see this, you will not be able to run some of what this command. So that's why I send the instruction to like this thing. Again, from this interface now, I can interact directly with my AWS, just in a programmatic way, in like a command way. If you know some of the, I don't really know most of the command, actually, most of the AWS command, but you can do a lot of stuff like list bucket. You can say AWS S3 LS, stuff like this. Then it will list all the bucket that you have on your account or whatever. So the first thing you want to do once you have this is you run AWS configure like this. You have to run AWS configure. Maybe I'll put that in the chat for everyone to see. Run AWS configure like this on your terminal. It could be, again, this could be your PowerShell. It doesn't matter. It could be your PowerShell, it could be your CMD, which is your command on Windows. So, but if you have this AWS, you should be able to run the command without question. So you hit enter with AWS configure. So what it will ask you is your own will probably be blank if you've not set it up before. So because I've set this up before, but I will overwrite it with the new one. So it's asking me for the access key now. You remember when I created the user, I downloaded the stuff. So this is what it's asking me. It's asking me for one of them. So I'll just go to the one I downloaded and just copy it right here. I need to look for it actually. So so the one I downloaded, you don't have to see it actually, but yeah, so this is the one I downloaded. This is it. So I'm just going to copy it. And then after this class, I'll just remove that user before I put this in the YouTube. So this now, I pasted the access key. Again, when I created that user, this is the key I was given, if you remember. So I was given this key. So I will just hit enter. So the next one is asking me for secret access key. They gave me two different keys, which you should have to if you follow with this. So I'm just going to grab that again and just paste it. Where's this guy? Okay. So I'm just going to grab the secrets. Hey, let's see the secret. Where's it? Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to grab this now. I hope I copy everything correctly. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I struggle using this thing. So this is the secret key, the one I was given, So I pasted this now, I hit enter again. So it's asking me for default region. So to know your region, because I'm in New York area now, New York, New Jersey. So if you go here, you see North Virginia, which is, if you click on it, you see US East 1. So for some people, it could be US East 2, just make sure you know where you are. So in my case, I'm in US East 1, which is North Virginia region. So I'm just going to put this directly there, US East 1. So I'll go back to my terminal, like, okay, US East.
But it shows on your command that you're in US East.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if it's working from the old access key,
Yeah.
that's why it shouldn't get this one.
Yeah, I already set something up before there. So, but I just want to show you, in your case now, if you are doing it for the first time, this will not show you as
Yeah, it won't show you. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be empty. This one you see, but I was overwriting all this thing. That's what I'm doing. So I bet I'm just trying to show it because in your own case, you not see this most likely. So, but again, I can just hit enter and just say that I'm okay with it, but I just want to show it so that you see how to enter it. Then format, I will leave it as default. I don't want to put anything there. Enter again, and that's it. So I'll clear my screen now. So now if I do AWS S3 LS, I'm telling that, okay, what are the buckets on my AWS? So it's telling me that these are the buckets I have on my AWS account. So I can do a lot of things directly here. I can create a bucket, I don't know, I can't remember the command. I can look it up, create a bucket directly on the CLI, and the bucket will be here. If I go to my S3 now, let me just show you to just show that what you are seeing on the terminal is the same thing as what we have here. So if so you see, these are my buckets that I have on the this thing. You see this partly the same thing with what you are seeing on my terminal. You see all these things. These are my bucket name. So you can do a lot of things. You can create a bucket from here. I can delete bucket. Give it a name, delete it. Let me see if I know how to delete bucket. S3, delete, probably delete bucket or something like that. Bucket. Then you need to provide the bucket name. Maybe this. Actually, I'm not sure of this. I just want to see if it will work. Okay, usage is giving me some syntax error. LS copy, okay, it's RM. I think it's RM to delete, so to remove. So RM, let me use that and see. So, again, this is just, this is not really what we are doing, but the point is you can interact on non option, okay, or whatever. So I didn't get the parameter, the syntax or whatever. So, but again, you can do a lot of things directly from your CLI or from your terminal, and you interact with AWS environment. So this is what we just talking about, and these are what we're going to use for Terraform. How Terraform will be able to talk to the environment too. So yeah, enough of that. Then one thing I want to show is, once you have your this thing, if you use LS, if you are using what's it called? If you are using PowerShell, just run ls. Then you should be able to see a file called .aws. It's a hidden file, but here I can't see it because it's hidden file. So I will run ls lam. So you see that file, you see it here, .aws. If you see any file with dot, they are hidden file. You can't see them running ls alone. If I run ls, I won't see it. But this is where my configuration is stored. So if I cd into that file now, if I cd into that folder, .aws. So let me clear my screen again. So let's see ls, let's see what is there. So I have a file called credential. So let me cut it. I think there's a file. So let me cut credential, because credential is a file. So you see what I was setting up in the terminal the other time. This is it here. This is where it's saved. So this is where it's saved. This is the name default. This one you can you can add another user, give it another name or do anything. So again, just showing you the credential that we're using. And this will automatically be stored on this directory, which will be .aws/credential. So this will be the part that it will be stored in. You can just cut it directly from there. So if you're in your home directory, you can cut it directly. And any questions so far before then we're going to jump into okay. No question, let's keep going. So again, we set this up already, if you're able to do this, you set up your AWS environment, you are using the user credential to talk to AWS. That's just the summary. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my, today's lab, I want us to use PowerShell, as a PowerShell, Visual Studio Code. Yeah, so hope you guys can see my VS Code screen.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just a second, please. Yeah, just a second, please. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm back. Yeah, so what we're going to do here is, we're going to use VS Code, so just create a folder, anywhere on your computer, just create a folder. So I'm going to create a folder right now, then I give it a name. I'll create it, manually, just right click, create a folder on your computer. You don't need to do anything perfect or anything. So I'm just going to create the folder. I know you can't see my screen, probably. Let me just call it my Terraform, you can call it any name. Just create the folder, know where you created it. Maybe
we can't see anything.
Yeah, okay. No. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, can you guys see my distance now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the folder I just created. I mean, like just right click, new folder on your Windows, just kind of right click anywhere. And I'm doing it on my desktop right here, you see. So I'm on the desktop, yeah. Yeah, so you can, I don't think I said my VS Code, even though I should be able to right click and say open with VS Code. But I can't see that option there. So I will just open it from VS Code directly.
Wait, is that my Terraform?
Yeah. It's empty file, nothing's there. I just
Okay.
created it, I just right click, new folder, then just give it a name. If you want to be fancy, you can do it on the terminal, make directory or whatever. So, but yeah, I'm not trying to do that now. So, but yeah, so that's the folder I just created, and again, it's directly in my desktop folder. So I know where it is. And so, but what I want to do now is that I want to open it with my VS Code. So, can you guys see my VS Code now? Can you guys see my VS Code? Yeah, I think you can. So
I'm breaking up. Oh.
yeah, I said, can you guys see my VS Code? Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's my VS Code. So what I'm going to do is that I'll go to, my internet was unstable. What happened? Yeah, can you guys hear me?
I can't see anything
Yeah,
here.
but I was breaking up. Then your VS.
And you are breaking up too.
Wow, that's very weird. Okay, hold on, let me see.
All we can see is pick a theme or customize the liquid theme.
Yeah, that's it. That's my VS Code. You
Oh,
can
okay,
see that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's my VS Code. I don't know how it will show on your own if you launch it at first, but
I
sometimes.
think it shows the same thing.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, if you just launch it, unless you have been. So I'll go to this this Explorer right here. So I'll click on this. No. Then I'm trying to see how it will. I don't know why it's taking me back to this. Okay. Go to file, go to file here, then do open. There should be open folder somewhere. Open. Yeah, then this will allow you to open. Then I go to my desktop, then click on the folder I created. So in your own, I think you should be able to see open folder. I don't know why it's a little bit different.
I think it's your network that is hanging because you can only see mouse. You can't really see anything.
I can't see any pictures again.
Wow. Let me stop sharing again then. That's very weird. This is so weird. Hopefully it will be good now. I don't know what's going on with my. So yeah, let me reshare briefly and hopefully. Sorry guys about that. And these things are this text over. So okay. Then I go to my folder. Okay. Yeah. Can you guys see my VS Code now?
Yes.
Okay.
But there's nothing there right now. So, okay.
Yeah, but you see the VS Code, it's just blank, I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I just, what I did is I go to file right here, then do open. I think in your case, you should see open folder or something like that. So they just open. What I want to do is that I want to open the folder I created, that empty folder I created. So I'll just open it. Then I will navigate. Remember, I created it on my desktop. So I go to my desktop, then this is the folder. So I just click on it, then I say open. So it will take me to VS Code straight with the folder now. If I say open now, so this is my, you see on the right, on the left side now, this is the folder I created. And again, it's empty. That's why you can't see anything there. So I can create a file here. I can do anything. I can, do so many cool stuff here. So, and you see this is the directory. Then, so yeah, you should have something like this, hopefully. So if you have something like this, you will, if you move your mouse towards this side, you will see all this option, or you can just use this directly. This is very cool to use. You see name file, this empty folder. So I want to create a file. So you can create a file directly from the VS Code. So I would say new file. And I'll just call it a name that's okay. Let's just call it, oh my God, a capital letter. I'll call it main.tf, which is the popular this thing they use. You see, immediately give me Terraform syntax, So I will hit enter. So, it's created a file for me now. So if I want to come here again, create another file, I can do that and call it another name, another file. You just have to give it. So because I give it .tf, Terraform has a .tf extension. If you want to write Terraform script, I think I forgot to write the .tf. Just like when we are writing Python script .py, when you are writing shell script .sh and all those stuff. So Terraform is .tf, and once you give .tf, VS Code already know that you want to write Terraform. That's why you're saying this thing. So and you can navigate, you can close this out. Again, I'm inside a folder now. I'm inside that folder that I created. I created 2 files there. If I go to my computer file explorer, I open this, you see the 2 files I created now. So it's the same thing as if I come here and I created those files directly, it will also show there. So there. VS Code is very important. So one thing I want this thing, the syntax, VS Code has what they call plugins, just like Jenkins. Plugins give it like functionality, because again, you are writing so many things, different language. It could be YAML, it could be a Terraform script, so it has some kind of like extension that we allow, that we help you, assist you with syntax and everything. If you do not write anything correctly, it can flag it and give you hints that you are not writing things correctly. So if I come here now, if I come to these extensions here, which they call it extension, click on extension, then I'll search for Terraform. So you see Python, there are a lot of them. I'm sure there are thousands of them, a lot of them. So if I say Terraform, so you see it gave me something, and this is directly from HashiCorp. You see the sign there, syntax highlighting. So as I'm writing it will be highlighting the syntax, giving it nice color, autocomplete. If you open a bracket, it will close it for you automatically. It's very smart because it knows that you are writing with Terraform. So these are very cool to have. If you click on it, you see it, you see the rating, you see how many downloads it has. 1 million people plus, it's not a good rating anyway, but it's directly from HashiCorp directly. There are a lot of them similar to that. So I just install it. So if I install it now, it will give me good, better. So I can come here and just close it. So I can come here and just close it because it's looking messy already. You don't want that. You see a lot of them similar to them, but these are not directly from HashiCorp. This may be maybe third party, maybe some guy that, those developers are very smart. You see the instruction, how to use it. So it will complete, do some auto completion. I think this is very cool. This may even be better than the one we downloaded. The rating is nice, almost 5-star with a lot of download. You can install anyone you feel like, and they pretty much work in a similar way. And so, but again, just a side note to note, I'm not going to install this. I already installed the other one. So to note. So now we're going to write Terra. Then I want to remove.
Sorry, Kine. Sorry, what are we trying to do now? We're trying to we are in PowerShell trying to install Terraform, right?
No. I assume you guys have a Terraform running already. We want to write the Terraform code. That's what we want to do now. We want to write the Terraform script. The one we did on the PowerShell the other time is just, I will show you when we did that, I'm just trying to show, because we need those credentials, Terraform need those credentials to use. So now we want to write a code. We want to write a Terraform code to deploy something on our AWS accounts. So we want to write a code. We're just going to launch that code. Again, this thing is just a code editor. This is connected directly to your computer. So okay. Now what you okay, let me minimize this. Then what you have to do is that if you press Shift, then you see this. I think they call it teeth under the escape button on your keyboard on the left. If you use Shift, then press that button, shift with that button. I don't know, like I think they call it teeth. What?
Is it beside the letter number one?
Yeah, to the left of number one. Yeah,
Escape,
below,
right?
yeah, below
It's
escape.
below
No,
escape. Below escape.
below escape, not escape. Yeah, below escape. So if you hold shift, then you use that, it should bring out your terminal under. Oh my God, don't bring it. Okay, I think it's command I need to use. Yeah, I think in your case use what's it called? Use control. Oh my God, doesn't bring it. Control. Okay, yeah, I use control. Yeah, control. Sorry. So I use control, then that button. So you see on the left now, it brings out my terminal. This is directly. This is like you are working on your PowerShell or anything. So
Okay.
you can write the code here, you can run it here, you see the output, directly here. So it's very, PowerShell is very
But
cool.
without that shift and whatever, how can you do it manually here?
I don't to do it manually, I think you need to, let me see.
Or split terminal, is that it?
Yeah, no, split terminal, we divide it into two.
Oh,
Give it into two. Yeah, this is, you can do it manually. If you click on terminal on top like this, I don't know how it appears on Windows. Then you see new terminal. I think that should work. So, but again, you can write the code here, then you run it, then you see the outputs coming up here. You can do so many. If there's a Python script, you can do some echo. Okay, matter of fact, let's just do some side this thing. Let me go to File Explorer. Let me create another file and just say hello.py, just to show you, of course, just this guy, we know it's a Python. He's already giving me a suggestion to install whatever. So I'm not interested. So if I just say print, this is not a Python class. I just want to show you how the terminal work. Hello, hello class, this is how to print in Python. Then I just run it. So you can run it directly from the terminal here. Where do you run it again? I think there's a shortcut there's this icon to run the, where is it? This run icon. But you can run it directly from here. Just run without debug. So for debugging, let me see. If I go to run, I don't know why it wants me to download the plugin. So, but there's this run icon that used to be on top like this. Then again, you just, if you run this thing, you should be able to, or you can directly just say, or maybe I don't even have a Python installed on my this thing. So, but you can just say, what's the name? Hello. Wow, this is getting messy. So you can just say Python tree. You can put the command directly here, Python tree, then the name of the file. Then it will run. It will give you the output right here. I was just looking for the button to run it. But yeah, this is the button I was looking for, and it finally comes. So you can just hit the button, then it will run the code. So you see it run the script and print the output, or you can run it manually, just like when we are running the sh command, Python string, and then we'll put the code. It will do that. So if we write our script now, we can run it here. Because we have, definitely you must have this thing installed. You must have Terraform installed on your computer. So if I do Terraform right here, version, so it should show me I have Terraform installed on my computer. If you don't have it, if you run this code, it will not work. So, just to note, just FYI. So the first thing you want to do is you write the provider column, which they call provider. You see, he already give me a suggestion. Yes, I want to write provider, and the name is AWS. So inside this AWS, you define like the access key, like the the access key name, and the other one, which is the secret key. So you do, again, this day you can check it on their, I think it's AWS access key. I think so. I think it's AWS. Let me say access key, _key, then equals to. So right here, I'll put the access key, the one I have there. And then here I will say secret _key. Then here, and again, they all have to be inside these curly braces. So this column. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to paste down my access key information and secret key. Then of course you have region as well. Region, where again, you may not really put region because, yeah, you have to put region. Sorry, this equals to, and you see how it underlined it for me that, things are not right. So now I'm going to put all the information. Of course, my region is US is 1. US is 1. Then my access key, I'm just going to copy it from where I saved it the other time. The one we downloaded. I will show you how to do it the other way, because this, which also I would like to talk about, this is not a good way to write a code. You don't want to store your stuff within the code. It's a very bad practice. You don't want to do that because it's very dangerous. So, and we're not going to use this, but I just want to show you the bad way to do it. Then I will show you a better way of doing it. So I'm just going to grab the access key, but it will work either way, of course. Then, yeah, again, let me grab the access key ID, the one I saved the other time. Then I'll put it here. Again, this syntax, you may just copy it, but just understand it. So basically, this provider just is telling Terraform that we are using AWS resources. We want to work with AWS resources, so you have to provide this column, and they tell Terraform that the name, if it is, for example, you are working with Azure, this could be Azure that you have to write here. I don't know the syntax for Azure or stuff, but again, it's something you can just, but this thing is compulsory, but you only have to do it once, to write the script. You only have to do it once, then you don't have to do it again. So, but you need to do that, and that will allow Terraform to authenticate to your AWS account. So,
sorry, so you're saying Terraform doesn't have any kind of GUI, right?
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately,
Okay.
that's why they call it infrastructure as a code. They don't want GUI.
So everything just works with code.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
from there. Okay.
Yeah. So it will look like this. I mean, trust me, this syntax is not that hard like that. So if you are, it's they provide some of this. You can just copy it again. Just copy it, but understand it. But understand what you have to change, what you have to edit, what you have to, depending on what you want to do. So, but this feed is very important, this first part. So it's very, very important. So the next thing we want to do, again, this will only allow Terraform to talk to AWS, because what we want to do now, if some of you is asking, what are we doing with this? What we want to do is we want to launch EC2 on AWS with Terraform.
Okay.
We don't want to go to Terraform and be clicking. We want to do it from here. And we just run this thing, and it will provision EC2 for us. So now the very, very important column that feed that we have to do is what they call resources. So you need to create, again, this is one. You remember at this open here, closes here. So for provider now, we are done with all the configuration, and you see all these things, they are inside all the curly braces. So just understand those basics, that if you don't close this and you're doing something else, it will throw you error. So just
that curly braces does this visual code, sorry, what do you call it? Does it create this thing itself?
Yeah, it does. It does. When I open it, it just created it automatically. when I do AWS, when I do provider, he already knows. So once I open it, he closes it for me. So I was just writing in between the line. I just make sure I'm writing everything in between these curly braces. That's it. So I don't have to worry about, so, but visually you should understand it as well. You see, give you, but for the provider part now, we are done with it, and that's why it closes here. So if it doesn't close, that means anything we write is still inside it. If I come here and still write anything, that means I'm still writing inside provider. So we are done with it now. So the next second thing, which is resource. You see, give me the suggestion already. So there are many resources on AWS. You see the suggestion now, a lot of them you can do. This is load balancing. Maybe you want to copy IAM. This is API gateway, a lot of them. The one we want to use is for instance, because we want to launch AWS instance. So we look for, again, you can just look it up that, okay, what's the resource name? But you have to give it has to be one of the name here. You can't just give it a random name. You see database, you see Kubernetes, everything is there. So any resources you want to do, you see user policy, everything you can. So this is given us because of this. So I want instance, that would be AWS_instance. So I want to create instance. The name could be anything. This name could be anything, but this is the name you will use to refer to these resources within Terraform. So I can give it a name that, okay, Kenneth EC2. You can give it any cool name, of course. You have to be, you see, you already open this and close it. So there are some things I need to put in between these curly braces. Matter of fact, there are a lot of information, and that is what we define this thing. One of them, which is compulsory, is AMI. I talked about AMI briefly, and equals to, it has to go with this stuff.
What do you press that brings out this particular? I thought you have to press it twice or something.
Say that again.
What did you press to bring out that particular after the equals to?
Yeah, nothing. I just say
just press. Okay.
Yeah, I just say AMI and they just throw me. So I say AMI like this, then I click this for it to give me a good suggestion. So it say equals to, then I need to provide this because that's the syntax for Terraform. You need to put almost everything in quotes, double quotes.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the quotes. What do you press on your keyboard to give it that?
Yeah, just the quotes, just the double quotes. Then they open and close it for me. If you have everything, yeah, just press it once. Then
just once.
Yeah, then it created it because it knows I have to close it. So,
because I can't find like the close one on my keyboard or something.
Okay, if your own cannot do that, that means you probably don't set it up. So we need to provide this. We need to provide what they call instance type. Again, these are defined in Terraform. You can look up. You already give me that instance type. So this is where you define like T2 micro. So let me do. You remember when we are launching instance, we are selecting all these options. Yeah. If you remember when we are doing, you select T2 micro, T2 small, T2 M2
large.
Yeah, exactly. So let me say T2 again. Let me say T2.micro. This is how they write it. So for the AMI, I will still show you how to get that. So
instead of O.
Oh, sorry, thank you. So another thing I want to write here, count. I want to say, okay, I want 5 instances of this. So let me just say 3. I don't want to be wasteful of my distance. Because it's number, I don't think I need to put double quotes there. So that is there. I want to give it a tag. You remember when we are launching instances, we have option to tag it, and that's the name you see on that this thing. So tag, this is the syntax for tag. Again, these are syntax you can look out for. Let me click it and see what it will suggest for me. So it equals to, then you use another curly braces. It's open and close it for me. Then it says key. Key will be named. You can be a lot of things you want to define. Then value will be any name you want to give it. That's the name you see on the EC2. Let me call it Terraform Jenkins. Terraform Jenkins. I call it Terraform Jenkins, then, so, and again, you see the tag is still within resources, guys, tag is still within resources, but tag also has the children, just like children under children. Just understand those simple concepts, that's it. And, tag open here, close here, then resources open here and close everything. So resources, this is like the end of everything. So again, you can write a lot of things depending on what you want to set up for. Like example, you want to add IAM role, everything, you can add many options there. But these are compulsory on the AMI is very compulsory because that's the image that you want to build this instance. So yeah, so I will grab this AMI ID from my AWS account. Now let's see what we got. So I'll go to my AWS. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see my AWS console. So I'll go to EC2. Then I'll go to, remember last week, I think some of you have already left. I created one AMI, which I took a snapshot from one of the Jenkins that's running. I don't know if some of you remember, but I did that. So I'll go to AMIs. So I have this. If you don't have this, it's okay. What you can do is that you can go to, you can just go to like, go to your EC2, which will be the same thing. You can, go to this thing, just go to launch instance. You remember is the first one you will have, AMI, choose AMI. This is where we used to choose Ubuntu, remember all the stuff. So, you can just copy any of these. You can copy any of these. So if you copy this, if you use any of these, it will launch Ubuntu server for you. If you use, if you go down and you use this AMI, it will launch Windows Server for you. If you use maybe this one, you will use Amazon Linux, which is like a Red Hat Enterprise. This for Red Hat, so you can use any of this one by AWS. So if I use this, it will launch the instance based on this. And so this is what they call image. But I don't want to use that because I have a custom image, which I created from one of my Jenkins server. So this is the image I have personally. Again, you can use that one I just showed you. So I'll copy the AMI. This is the AMI ID that you need to provide for Jenkins, for Terraform. So Terraform will use this to launch AWS instance. So let me go to my VS Code again. So I will give this, make sure I put it in between this. So let me just do Control V. So I have the AMI now. I have everything. So I say count equals 3. That means I have 3. So I say I want T2 micro. I want the name to be Terraform Jenkins. So I'll just do Control S to save it, to make sure that I save it. This thing is saved. I can send this to you guys if you want. So what I can do now is that I'll go to my terminal. Make sure you are, under your terminal. You can run this thing directly from your PowerShell. If you have this script there, it doesn't matter. But this just make life a little bit easier and kind of more. You see the code, then you run the script under it. So the first thing you want to do is do Terraform init. So Terraform, again, make sure you are inside the folder where you have this code. You remember I'm inside this folder now. If I do pwd, tell me that I'm inside this folder, desktop, if you are not there, this thing will not work. Make sure you are inside the folder. If I do ls, you see the code, this code right now. So this is the code I have here. So it's make sure you are inside that folder, that you have the script. So the first thing you want to do is Terraform. Terraform has, like a syntax for, just like we are running all this Linux command. It has its own command, but trust me, it's very easy. Just like we are doing Git too. Most of all these tools, they have their own command. Git push, Git clone. So I will do Terraform init. That's the first thing. So this will download necessary, they call it plugins that you need, that Terraform we use to like talk to AWS. So it just means Terraform initialize init. So you have to run that first, but only one time. So if I do that now, you see it's downloading stuff from me, because it knows I want to run AWS resources. So I do Terraform init. The next one is Terraform plan. So Terraform plan will tell you that what Terraform is about to do, just like the name, Terraform plan. Trust me, this command is easier than Git or those, because it's just two. Most of them are just two command, 2 word, Terraform plan, Terraform init, Terraform apply. So I'll do Terraform plan now, then it will tell me that this is what Terraform want to do. So let's see what happens once I run Terraform plan. Okay, it throws some error. Provider AWS. What is another one? Validating credential error.
So check your access to security.
Yeah. That's exactly what I guess too. Let me, especially that access key. Let me go back to my console. The access key, I kind of go to IAM role again. Then this is the access key. That's my
Access security credential.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, security credential. Then this will, let me see. I don't know if it's the other one that has the problem now. Then I'm guessing it's this. Yeah, let me do this. Yeah, probably this. Now let me save it. Let me do Terraform plan again. Now, okay, let me check the other one now. This is send provider. Okay, yeah, let me check the other key, which I have right here. Actually, I can use the other alternative, but I don't want to use them now. So I hope I copy this. Okay, let's start with sys and with so, like it's right. Okay, let me do Control V. Let me save it again. I don't know what is going on with this. Yeah, it's complaining about my security. Let me do Terraform plan again. Check your secret access key method of signing.
Maybe if you change it and do it again, or create another one.
Yeah, probably. Let's sure. This is stupid. Yeah, so probably I will have to create another one.
Create
Oh.
maybe
Let me just create another one without deleting this. So let me create a user really quick. New user. So programmatic access. And then I have a group already. Let me just do this. Okay. And then let me just create it. Then I'll copy it directly from here. Access key. Access key. Then I'll put the secret key there. Okay. This should work. Yeah, so let me save it now. Okay. Let me do Terraform plan again also. Yeah, so now it works well. So Terraform plan, again, like the name, it just tell you what Terraform is about to do. So it tell you, yeah. So yeah, so basically just tell us that, okay, we want to add 3 resources, changes, 0 changes, we want to destroy 0. So, and if you go through all these things, these are some things we can set up, this is the IAM role, but you can do a lot of things, host ID, IPv6, a lot of options you can do. But the main thing you want to check here is right here. So, so now the next command you run here is Terraform apply. So I'll just use up arrow key and just change the last word, apply. So if we run this one now, it will start provisioning our infrastructure in AWS. So let me hit enter now. then it will prompt you to answer yes or no here. Yes, I want to continue. So now let's go to our AWS console directly and see what is going on there. Because this way the magic is coming up. So now you see, okay, we don't have anything running. So immediately you see all this thing, this one starts showing pending. Yeah, those are the 3 instances. You see the name, there's a way you can kind of modify it. You see the name that we give Terraform.
Was it 3 instances you launched?
Yeah. Check the code again. I say count.
Count 3. Okay.
Yeah,
3.
Yeah, count 3. Then this is the name.
Terraform,
so it will launch it. One is running already, then a snap. So these are very, quick, and you don't need to do click, and you can do a lot of things. Again, in the real world, you are not just launching instance. There are so many things you are setting up. Now we don't even do like security go, but you want to attach security go with it. You want to do VPC, a lot of things you want to do. So these things are very, and I can give this code to anyone, to anybody in another team. They just launch it and they are good. Within a second, you see we have 3 instances running within this thing. So if I go to my this thing and grab the IP address now, because you remember I created this image. The image I used was from the Jenkins. If I use this, it should come up with a Jenkins server. I use a Jenkins image. The image ID I used was a Jenkins server, which I cloned. I think it's still initializing. So again, you see the 2 things. And another cool thing is that, okay, we have it now. You can have a lot of, maybe you are done with all these things. You don't need it again. Just go to your this thing again. Just go to just do Terraform destroy. And within a snap, it will shut everything down. Maybe you feel like, okay, you are done playing with it, or you don't need this server again. Maybe you already do what you want to do with it. So just run Terraform destroy. So that will definitely just they should spin up a Jenkins server. Actually, it's not because I give it a name Jenkins, because I use the image which I created. Yeah, but that's not part of the class anyway. So this way. So if I go back to the terminal now, maybe I'm done playing with this thing. I just say Terraform destroy, destroy like this. Then enter. So all the infrastructure that Terraform provision, Terraform know them already. Terraform will destroy it. So it tells me that, tell it to destroy. You see this part is very key. So you know what you want to do. This is, and it will warn you that once you destroy it, you can't bring them back again unless you want to provision another one. So I say, yes, I want to destroy it. Let's be destructive. So, it's destroying it now. If I go to my AWS, shut it down instantly. It's shutting all those things down, like, okay, I'm done with it with just a command. And, you can do a lot of things, a lot of advanced things with Terra. Very powerful, guys, because it's, you see some code way more than this. And for the couple of days, we'll be working with this code. We'll be adding more stuff with it, create, destroy, do things, see how it works, because Terraform is very important. And if you know it, you are good to go, honestly. So then, this is, so that will be the end for the class today, guys. So,
but like, you save this code, right? And if you go to that Terraform folder in your desktop.
Yeah. It will, let me put my desktop.
How do you save it from here?
Yeah, just if you go to file, you can
just save. Oh, okay.
Yeah, or Control S on your distance.
Yeah, Control S. Okay.
Yeah. If you don't do that, it will not save. And if you are running the Terraform apply without saving the code, that will not. Yeah, it will not. Yeah, so you have to make sure you save it.
Okay.
Again, this is a very basic. I will show you a better way to do this. Not to because you don't want to expose your credential like this. It's very, very bad. So I will show you a very easier way to do that next class with the one that we created. So again, we'll be working with Terraform for a couple of days. because it's very important, just understand the concept and what it does. Let's see if our stuff is destroyed already. Shut down. We terminated the 2 has been terminated already. 1 is still pending. That's Terraform 101 for you guys.
Very good. I don't know. I think someone was asking based on the VS Code if you want to get the terminal. You use your control and that button under escape. But another option is you can just drag it from the down and it's going to come out. So
okay.
Oh,
in case maybe,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I always use that shortcut actually. Yeah. And this thing is because of this class, I closed the terminal. My terminal has been open because I think if you open it once, I don't think it will go again like that, unless you manually close it like this. If I come here now, close it. So, but I wanted to show it in the class because I know it will not. So, but if I come back to my VS Code, my terminal will always be there. But yeah. Thank you for that. Again, we destroy our stuff, and everything's gone. So yeah, that's Terraform, guys. 101. Any question? I know it's very easy. I mean, this is the basic.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, like you said, it's the basic. So I guess there's still like more technical.
Yeah. So we're going deep, all those variables. Yeah, how to do some, we add some resources like load balancing, security group, attach role and policy, all those stuff.
Then the resources, like, how do you know how to write them in order? Like, first you put like your instance, then how do you know like the order in which to write?
Yeah, I think Terraform, that's a good question. Terraform by default kind of knows the orders, and there's a way also if you have some dependency that, for example, maybe you have to like create, you want to like attach elastic IP address to EC2. That means you have to have the EC2 first before you create the So Terraform kind of know what you are doing, and it will do it in that order, and then make sure that the one that has to go first is provision first. So yeah.
So even if I put like security before and maybe something will go.
Terraform will know. Yeah, we will know. Yeah, we'll figure it out, and provision the one he has to do first. Then do it, attach it to the other one. Yeah, it's very smart, and yeah, it can do that. Yeah, that's a good question too.
What I want to ask, the commands you run based on the Terraform, are those the major commands you run? You run every time when you want to.
Those are the major commands. Terraform init, Terraform plant, Terraform apply, Terraform destroy. Those are like the major commands you use with Terraform. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The main work is doing the scripting. Yeah. Yeah. There are still some other few ones like validate. If you want to Terraform to check the syntax and everything, taint, but those are not too. This one are the one you name mostly. And again, the main job is on the writing the script itself, which we'll see some interview where we'll be asking you that have you written Terraform script from scratch before and stuff like that. Yeah. But the command is pretty much very easy.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah. Okay.